Hello everybody and welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom, more specifically the Prehistoric Kingdom Dev Diary. That's right, another month has gone by and Prehistoric Kingdom has released another Dev Diary. Just a heads up for this video here, a lot of this is on their Patreon already and has been slowly released over the course of last month. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, that's awesome. I am as well. Definitely support the team if you can. Again, that's kind of what they're mentioning here. Support them if you can so that this project can keep going, of course. But if you are a Patreon subscriber, you've already seen a lot of this stuff. So this won't be new to you, at least in the first half of this video. So again, with that out of the way, we'll jump right in here. This Dev Diary is all about babies, and even more babies. They have this wonderful shot here of some of the babies or juvenile dinosaurs, and yeah, dinosaurs here. There's no mammals in this shot. Well, or actually, there is one. There's a baby woolly mammoth. We'll get into that. These are all some of the babies that you're going to be seeing in the game coming in the next update, which is releasing in April. They have a complete range here. They say that they've done 40 of the 58 babies that they are planning on doing here. And some of the technical aspects here, we won't get too deep into this, but some of the key points, at least for me, are the swaps between the nav meshes and preventing the animals from growing if the space is too small. So that makes me wonder, if the space is too small, does that mean that you could theoretically create a petting zoo type situation where you have enclosures of baby animals only in there and they will never grow up? It's an interesting piece that they have in there. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's kind of what I'm getting from the way that they're wording that. Again, the swapping between the nav mesh sizes, this is basically what this is showing right here. And without getting too technical in this, basically it's making all of these little points here bigger or smaller as this animal grows up, meaning that the babies or juvenile animals can weave in and out of very small spaces compared to the much larger full-grown adults. So, you know, for instance, the Brontosaurus exhibit that we made may have some openings that a juvenile or baby Brontosaurus could squeeze through, but a full-grown adult would not be able to. So it's going to change a lot of the way that we build the exhibits going forward, for myself personally, and for probably a lot of you all out there, and a lot of creators will probably change, again, the way that a lot of those are created. All right, moving on now. So this is, again, a free Patreon post. I won't click on it here, but feel free to pull up this Dev Diary and go to it if you want. They kind of posted the sound test here of some of the sounds that and how that changes with time. So a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex will sound completely different to a adult Tyrannosaurus Rex. Again, super awesome stuff. Release window, as we stated earlier, it's going to be coming out in April. They say late April. We'll see how that progresses as the future goes on. All right, so getting into the meat and bones of this now, the baby animals. Feel free to pause. Again, we're just kind of scroll through here and mention a couple of things. First up here, we have the Paraceratherium and its counterpart here of Juxia, or Juxia, however you want to pronounce it. I believe it is actually pronounced Juxia, but whatever. These are two alternate species of each other. Juxia is rather a alternate species of Paraceratherium here. And these are in the rhino family. So you can kind of see when they're a baby, they do kind of look like long, gangly rhinos here. Of course, the babies have much larger eyes and larger ears, giving them that absolutely heart-crushing adorableness that they have, and their big, gigantic feet that they keep all the way into adulthood, pretty much. But the interesting thing for me is they mention in here about the prehensile lip, and you can really sort of make that out here on Paraceratherium and a little bit on Juicia. But these lips are really indicative of the relation to the black rhinoceros. If any of you have ever seen the prehensile lip on a black rhino, I'll try to put up a picture now if I remember, but that is indicative of the sort of environment that it lives in and the food that it would eat. So what this is sort of indicating, and you can actually kind of see this Paraceratherium here in the background, eating this tall standing foliage feeder that they have in game. What that prehensile lip allows them to do, I don't know why I'm doing it off camera. You can't see me doing this, but I have my finger on my upper lip, and basically what it allows the Paraceratherium to do is sort of reach out and grab. So if you've ever seen a giraffe stick its tongue out and wrap around a branch to pull it in, it's the same sort of aspect that Paraceratherium would have done, and that the black rhino does again today. So black rhinos live in environments that are very shrubby and bushy, and they use that prehensile lip to rip and tear those branches off of the bushes there, versus the white rhino that we'll talk about a little bit later when we get to Coelodonta, because the woolly rhino in this game, that upper lip looks a little bit more like a white rhino. Again, technical stuff, but we're kind of getting into it here. Next up, we have the Parasaurolophus and Tyrannosaurus. I don't know that I pronounced that correct, but one of the cool things that you can see here is the bump on the head. So they don't have their full crest shape here. I don't know paleontologically if that is correct or not. Again, I apologize if I forget to edit out any of these coughs. I've been sick this past week, but I don't know if the bump on the head is paleontologically correct, if they've found evidence for that, but this is something that's gonna grow as these animals grow and get longer and longer, and we'll show that a little later. This was a dinosaur that they posted to the Patreon a while back and really turned some heads with, to the point that, again, they made this meme, if you haven't seen it, if you're not on their Patreon here, but this is Deinocheirus. And it is not really fuzzy or appealing looking. Again, they kind of have in this meme here the baby velociraptor that is cute and adorable and fluffy, and then they have this gangly creature here, this gangly baby. Personally, though, I really love this because they say that they use the inspiration of the pelican, the roseate spoonbill, and the flamingo, all birds that are native here to Florida where I live. Very beautiful in their adult stage and really creepy and disgusting looking as a baby. However, I think it's kind of cute. I think that their little gangly, scraggly looking shape and form here is kind of adorable. So yeah, it's only a face that a mother could love, truly. Yeah, and they've listed here some other babies here. Coelodonta, again, you can see that upper lip is very flat, similar to a white rhino. Again, don't know if that's correct paleontologically, but I believe we have found quote-unquote mummified remains of Coelodonta in Siberia, preserved in the permafrost. So this may actually be one of the most correct that they have in the game, at least from my understanding. After that, we have the Dilophosaurus, and I love this because you can see that they are fuzzy, but hopefully it picks up on camera. They are ever so slightly different colorations, just as the adults. even in the same skin that you would pick in the incubator, I guess. I forget what the word is called. But they would come out being slightly different skin tones, so a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, just natural variations here. Next up, they show the Dryosaurus. I believe this is the first time that they are actually showing Dryosaurus. I don't think they actually showed this on the Patreon at all. I could be wrong, but Dryosaurus is absolutely adorable. Just these little white puffballs here. And these are actually going to be some of the next dinosaurs that we put into Paleo Springs. So very excited for that, and very excited for these little white fluffy chicks going forward. And then again, we have the Velociraptor, just absolutely adorable, absolutely fluffy and fuzzy compared to the mildly terrifying adult that they have there in the background. Yeah, there he is, just jumping around and being a cute little guy. And then they have here Megaloceros, and this was changed slightly based on some of the feedback that they gave from the last Dev Diary, I believe, if it was in there, and the Patreon. They made it look more like a modern day deer baby, which I think is a good choice. They are related to modern day deer. Again, it's got that big giant head just like a regular baby animal would today. And then the size comparison there for the juvenile versus the adult male as well. They have here these videos. They are not muted, but hopefully no music comes out from it. But you can kind of see here the change in the growth rates of these animals here as they're growing up. So we have Dryosaurus growing up from that little puffball. We have Megaloceros growing up from the baby deer into the big giant antlered megafauna that it is. These are all, of course, sped up. It says it right there. But it is so uncanny, I guess, to see this growth rate be so seamless. That my eye at least cannot tell a difference between the different stages. There's a little bit of stuttering here and there, like for the Megaloceros. You can kind of see a little bit of that stuttering in the antler growth there. But aside from that, this, I think, honestly, I hope, will revolutionize how these types of games are made. And I hope that Planet Zoo 2, whenever that comes out, if that ever is in development and comes out, I know it won't, but I hope that it will take some cues from this and have a seamless growth rate. I think this is so revolutionary in the way that it is portraying itself in games. And then they show, lastly, the Dilophosaurus here, growing up from that very tiny, non-crested. See, the crests are very, very small here, slightly feathered. The feathers go away as it grows up. It gets longer and longer, taller, and then those crests start to appear, and then they really take off in those last few years or months. I don't know the time span of this, but they really take off there at the end. Another thing that they're working on in the next update is the alternate species here. So you can really see the difference between Smilodon fatalis and Smilodon populator. Again, Smilodon is one of my favorite animals in this game. Very few other games out there have Smilodon this accurately recreated, and now it is even more accurate in its recreation, where you have Smilodon populator being the much more massive version, the much larger version of the Smilodon species in game, and Smilodon fatalis is a lot smaller. And you can actually see here the fangs, the saber teeth here on fatalis are actually a little bit shorter than they are on populator. And they really honed in. Personally, I can't tell a difference here, but I'm sure some of you all can. they changed the fur length on Fatalis versus Populator. Or I'm sorry, the other way around. They changed the fur length on Populator versus Fatalis. Again, I can't really tell a difference. They still look pretty fuzzy to me. But yeah, you can kind of see the saber teeth are a little bit smaller. The height difference alone is indicative of it, aside from the patterning and everything like that. Yeah, really interested to see how this looks in game. Another example that they gave here is the Carmarosaurus. These are another species that are going to be going into Paleo Springs in that Morrison Formation area. These are Morrison Formation dinosaurs, so we're going to be putting them in a future episode. And you can see here that the height difference is absolutely massive. So they have Grandis as the smallest, and then Lentis, and then Supremus here being the largest, or the most supreme, again, that the Latin name sort of means. But you can really sort of see this difference here in the skull shape. So Grandis has this sort of longer, more protruding skull, and Lentis and Supremus have pretty similar skulls here, but the ridges, these spines on the back here, are changed for the different subspecies as well. So Lentis and Grandis have pretty elongated, but Supremus has shorter ones. So Supremus is really sort of getting closer to that Brachiosaurid look, which is another dinosaur in the Morrison Formation that we will be putting in at some point. But yeah, it's really kind of getting to that, and it's going to be awesome. The last thing that's coming in this update that I am super excited about is the first-person mode. So this is a video here showcasing the first person, and what they're going to do right here is open the gate. And that is incredible. So in Planet Zoo, if you walk around in first person, the gates open automatically. They showcase a little bit later in here in this video, if I can talk and stall long enough. Yeah, here we go. That they're using the binoculars that they have in the exhibit. So you can actually use the binoculars and zoom in and out and see your dinosaurs like you've never been able to see them before. They have, again, this first-person mode here. You can sit on the benches. You can do everything that you could possibly want to do. I am so stoked about this. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Oh, there is music there. Whatever. It's going to be absolutely incredible to walk around your parks in first person, and you can bet that the next tour that we do of Paleo Springs is gonna be a first person walkthrough. I'm super excited about that. Some other changes: they're changing the animal creation just as aesthetically, and also they said that they're going to be making it more expensive to incubate adults, which, makes sense. If you want to have a full-grown adult animal now with that age slider that's coming, it's going to be more expensive than if you have a juvenile that you are putting into the park. So it may incentivize people to have all of the animals in their parks be babies, and that'll be interesting. Animal points here as well, they're also changing how that works. So a larger T-Rex, they say, will have more base appeal than a smaller T-Rex. Now again, this will go into the growth rates there, how soon it stops versus one another, but I'm curious if that means that a baby T-Rex will be less appealing than a full-grown T-Rex, because truth be told, I think it should almost be a inverse bell curve where the babies are super appealing. The adolescents, the teenagers, are way less appealing because they're kind of gangly looking. And then a full-grown adult is, again, more appealing. So I think it should sort of be like an inverse bell curve, or like a U shape there. yeah, really interested to see how that all turns out and how that looks. They're changing the excavation system here and making animals more widespread, which I think is a wonderful choice here. They use the example of Edmontosaurus regalis, and then they say various mammals. So I assume that the mammals, the Ice Age mammals, will be widespread pretty much throughout all of Europe, and will be found in a lot of dig sites, and I'm really interested to see how that works. And then lastly, the staff dispatch improvements, basically making it so the staff do their jobs now, and are a little bit more reliable to fill feeders and pick up dung from exhibits and all that fun stuff. All right, moving on into the future. This is a very long dev diary, but moving on into the future exhibit, or the future stuff. This is not coming in update 14. Maybe it'll be update 15, maybe it'll be 16, who knows. But the paleobotany was something that they teased last month, and super excited for that. They're teasing more examples of this paleobotany here. Again, I am not an expert on really any of these, but I am super excited to see them, as I know a lot of creators have also said that they are not experts on this, but are super excited to see it as well. So I'll definitely be trying to learn more about these prehistoric plants as they release them into the game, so that I can tell you all a little bit more about the actual paleobotany. I think that'd be really cool. But the one that I'm really excited for is right here, the Syads. This is a classic prehistoric plant, and actually the museum that I used to work for had Syad fossils, because here in Florida, Syads still are around. Not this same exact Syad that you see here, but that genus has continued on, and we find Syads here in Florida. I believe they're also in Australia, New Zealand, that area. I mean, that's basically prehistoric planet right there, living in Australia today. But Syads are awesome. Really excited to have them in the game. And then, yeah, some community art here. Nigel Marvin with Tiktaalik here in a swamp. That's super cool. And then this, I saw, I still can't tell. I don't know if someone 3D printed that, but that's awesome if they did. If anybody knows out there, if someone ripped an STL and 3D printed that, let me know, because I would love the STLs from this game, or the 3D models. But yeah, so that's all that I got for this. Look out for more videos to come. My PC is fixed, with big air quotes around it. There's still some problems with it, but I think I'm in a place now where I can finally start to record some Prehistoric Kingdom again. And I'm going to be putting a poll up on YouTube and on my Discord. If you have not joined the Discord, feel free to join below. The link should be there in the description. I'm going to be putting a poll up to see what kind of games you all would like me to start playing in the future on this channel. Again, this is kind of getting into away from the dev diary. So if you're just here for the dev diary, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking your time. If you want to listen to me ramble, feel free to stick around for just a couple of minutes. But yeah, I'm going to be putting a poll up to see what kind of games you want me to play. I know one that I think I'm wanting to go on the channel is 2 Point Museum, because one, I work in museums. I still work in a museum, just not the same one. 2 Point Museum is coming out soon. I know a lot of other creators have started releasing videos that may or may not be sponsored or early access or whatever. I love the 2 Point games. 2 Point Hospital was amazing. 2 Point Campus didn't really grab me, but I played it for a little bit and I liked it. But 2 Point Museum, now that I am really interested in, and that I think will go on the channel at some point. But yeah, I've also been playing a lot of other games of City Skylines 2, when it works, when it doesn't want to crash on me. I'd love to show you all those builds that I'm doing in there. And then Planet Coaster 2 came out with a dev diary, basically an update earlier this week, which was super exciting. If anybody saw that, I didn't make a video on it, but I might jump back into Planet Coaster 2 and do some of that. So yeah, that'll be fun. Anyway, if you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. There's a million things you could have been doing, and you chose to spend a little bit of that time here with me and watch me go over the dev diary from this wonderful game here of Prehistoric Kingdom. So with that, thank you for watching again. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.